for a lot of us, we don't recognize that there are two different types of trust, and we wind up mistaking one kind of trust for another, and that gets us into trouble with relationships. So, trust is generally this idea that you are going to be able to take some risk or some kind of divulge some kind of intimacy, whether it's asking someone to take care of your goldfish or telling someone a secret. You're going to be vulnerable with them, and they are not going to betray you. Right? That's essentially what trust means. However, there are two types of trust. There's what we call effective with an E, effective or cognitive trust, right? Sort of brain trust. I don't really like cognitive because cognitive can also be emotions. So I call it effective trust with an E. And then there's affective trust, AFFECTIVE, which is another word for emotional trust. So I don't like the emotion reason binary, so I'm going to call it effective trust with an E and affective trust with an A. Effective trust is based on our knowledge and evidence about those we choose to trust. It's being able to trust people with sort of task-based or objective things. So I trust you to check on my cats while I'm away, right? That's an effective move. You have to accomplish something. I trust that if we study for the test, you're going to know the right answers. Is another kind of effective trust, all right? I trust that I pay this money to go to Geneseo, or I use the taxpayer scholarship to go to Geneseo, and that when I have a professor who's standing in front of me, they're going to be able to teach me the things that I need to know to go get a job. That's effective trust. Now, lots of people can grow up in households with high effective trust or be in relationships with high effective trust and not high affective trust. So affective trust is born out of our emotional ties with others, including the security and the confidence we place in others based on the feelings that we generate. So examples of affective trust: being able to tell you a secret, being able to have you come for me after a hard day, being someone that I can sort of divulge a vulnerability to or share a weakness or an inadequacy, and you're going to still understand and be around for me. Now, some of us grew up in environments with high affective trust and low effective trust. Some of us had both and some of us had neither. And now in our current relationships with friends or roommates, living situation, adult family, whatever, we may have both, we may have one, we may have neither. I think the thing that a lot of us run into as people with attachment styles that are trying to have relationships and attach to other people is that we often mistake one for the other. So just because I have a brother, for example, who is amazing with affective trust, he always knows the right thing to say, he listens to me, but he's got no effective trust. I can't expect him to pay back loans. I can't expect him to follow through on expectations. So the problem is I can't let my affective trust of my brother become effective trust, or I'm going to get burned. So I have to know what are the right things to trust him with and what are not. If you go to a person with whom you have high cognitive trust or effective trust, expecting affective trust, and you don't get it, you're going to think that that's a failure of them or that's a reflection of you, and you're going to be very disappointed. But what you need to recognize is that you ask someone who could not provide you with affective trust to do that because you thought trust was all the same kind of trust.